Welcome, y'all, my yarny loves. It's past time o'clock that we were crafting a better world. So let's dig into our tools and our project bags and see what meaning we can find to help us in this work of being, becoming, and braving a better world for all. Hello, we're still in a pandemic over here. Stay home and mend. Mending. Mending is what we do to cover a hole or break in the fabric that inevitably happens because of everyday wear and tear. Long ago, people took scraps of cloth used in making clothes to patch over these breaks. People have continued to do that for generations. When people stopped having rags or scrap piles in their homes, companies thought up pre-sewn funky patches you could buy to sew or iron on to cover the holes in the cloth that covered your knees or elbows, or that you could just add for fun flair. Of course, then it became more fashionable to have pre-made rips in the fabric of all things, but not just naturally torn from long wear. Fashion so often and so creepily mirrors culture. A culture that charges ridiculous amounts of money for pants to look worn and rugged, for people who never wear anything long enough for it to get worn, or do anything that would amount to being rugged. A culture that charges you to have distressed fabric, while distressing the workers who sweat over the machines and chemicals that create that fabric. Such a culture can seem pretty twisted and perverse, but mending really used to be a thing, and many of us still do it. These are darning eggs, an old tool, but still in use by those who still darn their socks. You slip the darning egg into the sock so that you can flatten out the place where the hole is, and make sure that when you mend, you don't sew one side of the sock to the other. It's good to make sure we don't make things worse when we do the mending. Most people today just buy a new pair when they get a hole in their socks. Probably some of the few people who darn their socks are those who knit them in the first place, because they know the work that went into them, so they take the time to mend. There are so many things and people in our lives far beyond knitting that we say we cherish, but we don't take the time to really do the mending necessary to reduce harm. We've developed this predatory, capitalistic culture which spreads the misinformation that everything and everyone is disposable. And people do literally throw away all kinds of usable things. And people and systems chew up and dispose of people and cultures too. But no matter what our death culture teaches, you cannot replace everything and everyone with a swipe of your card or an online purchase. It's no wonder folks grow up in our culture emotionally bankrupt and bereft of a real understanding of relationship and community and resilience. Because the only way many of us know how to fix something is to throw money at it, to throw it away and buy something to replace it. And when that inevitably doesn't work, doesn't fix the thing, it's no wonder we have such a high incidence of violence, addiction, and depression. Because we have so many broken places and so few among us who know how to mend. We must find our way back to the lost art of mending. You can mend just about any broken place, but a good, lasting mend can't be bought or rushed. A good mend requires close attention to detail. It's less about fancy skills, but slow, deliberate, intentional care. It's important to find all the breaks so that further damage isn't done. Mends can sometimes be invisible, but rarely. Like a scar, The more serious the damage, the more visible the mend. But a good mend makes the cloth stronger and more beautiful. Sometimes we don't have to look outward to see what needs mending, because often there's a space inside us that needs tending, that needs to know that we are worthy of being loved and capable of being loving. So let's work on our mending skills, okay? For ourselves, our relationships, and our whole community. Because no one is disposable. Not ever.